Hi everyone. This is a new series about product photography, and I'm recording this first short clip in order to show the setting that I have. So basically, I have this seamless white paper here on the back, and that sweeps all the way down to the front, and I'm using like the saw horses I got from Home Depot, and they are reasonably priced, and those are plastic ones but still would do the job. And I'm applying here underneath it like like a board, and I'm extending the paper all the way above it, and I'm using on the board here plexiglass in order to have some kind of reflection of the product that I'm shooting. So essentially the setting will be, as far as the lighting goes, I have here a soft box that is gonna be blowing out the background to complete white 255, and I'm using here a flag, which is just like from Office Max, a black board, and that will prevent the washout of the light to the front affecting the product. And on the front of the soft box that is light in the background, I have a soft box that is gonna have here a fill, and it will help in illuminating the plexiglass and the product itself from the top. And I played with the ratios, and I found out for my settings, which I have 2-speed lights on Lumi Pro. Those are SB 700 and those are 2 SB 800, and those 4 are connected through Photex Odin receivers. So 4 receivers are there, and I have a grid here underneath this one because I want to control the spilling of the light from that fill. I have the option of using a diffuser underneath it, so I may do that. I'll see how that works. So I may have that diffuser extending underneath in order to diffuse the light more. But I found out that with the grid I should be good, I should be okay. I tried it and it looked like nicely distributed evenly. I did like the do-it-yourself V flats. So those are 2 A3 papers, white papers, and I kind of stapled them on a black paper, okay? And same applies here. So I have 2 V flats that are gonna dial a negative fill in order to make sure that when I'm gonna blow out the background there, that the edge is not gonna be washed out. So this is only to define the edge. Actually, this will work more efficiently if I have a reflective surface. Here I'm shooting a product which is like a sock on a mannequin, and I still will have more defined edge once I blow out the background to 255. The plexiglass is gonna give me a nice reflection here. Now, so we talked about the fill on the top, we talked about the lighting of the background here, we talked about the barrier here so that light will not kind of wash out the front. Now the 2 main lights are gonna be my trusty Palsy buff. I have here the Ultra 1200, and I have here the Ultra 600. So basically the output here is half the output of that one, and that way I'm getting on my product a ratio 2:1 if I'm setting evenly the back to the same marker. So that basically if I'm going one stop and a half on that one, I know that the output is going to be 2:1, and that way will make my life easier. And when I'm measuring the final output of the exposure of the product before I turn on the fill, and before I turn on the light for the background, and I just dial in the exposure for my product first, and I measure the output, it will make it a whole lot easier in manipulating the output from those two, knowing that it's 2:1. So that would make life easier. I don't have to go all the way to use this lens. This is the only nice lens I have, and it is the 80-400. I don't need definitely that, but I'm trying here to use the sensor fully by taking that in a portrait mode. And basically here I'm using almost like I can zoom in and I can fill the sensor so I don't lose any pixel. And I'm gonna fiddle with that in a way that I will keep it within the V flats, so then I can crop very minimal amount without losing much of the pixels that my Nikon D610 give me, that nice camera that I still love a lot. And it did a very good job actually. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the Photex Odin transmitter to trigger those speed lights, and at the same time to trigger the Ultra 1200, so I have it on the top of it. And I'm not gonna put anything here, it's just gonna be triggered as a slave from that sensor on the back of it. So basically this will respond to the rest of those. And in the next episode I'm gonna go ahead and show you the measurements and show you the output, and to shoot the first product here, and we'll see what the results are. So we're gonna take it one step at a time. The most important thing is first find your exposure before you turn on the fill and before you turn on the background. Just find your exposure from the main lights. Once you lock your exposure, then you can dial in the rest of them in order to fill and in order to blow out that background without washing out your product. All right, that will be the end of it for tonight, and I'm gonna sign out. Bye.